Hey friends, today I'm here to talk about a recently released Telugu blockbuster movie. You can see the movie's name and rating on the screen. Before we get started, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And for a better experience, set the playback speed to 1.25x. So, let's dive into today's awesome explanation. The story begins with some basics of Sanatan Dharma. It's said that Sanatan Dharma is very ancient and has two main principles. Karma and rebirth means a person experiences the results of their actions either in this life or the next. If the actions are good, the results are good too. But if they're bad, you have to face the consequences. And once all the accounts of your actions are settled, that's when you achieve liberation. This idea forms the foundation of the whole film story. After that, we see an old woman and her granddaughter. The little girl is trying to feed the cow at home, but the cow won't eat. Getting upset, the girl goes to her grandmother. Then the grandmother explains to her that you should never insult your mother or the sacred cow. She shouldn't do that. Then she starts telling an old story, because she believes even small sins can keep a person from salvation. The story goes back nearly 100 years. There, a landlord and his wife live in a village, but no matter what they try, they can't have children. Because of this, the landlord's wife goes through all sorts of rituals and keeps visiting temples. During this time, she learns about a goddess named Kante Rama, whose statue is located deep in the forest. She decides to go there to pray for a child. She prays. The next day, when she goes near the temple again, she sees little kids' footprints. She realizes the goddess has heard her prayers. Meanwhile, the landlord gets advice from some sorcerer who tells him that if he sacrifices a cow, he'll have children too. So he ends up sacrificing their family cow. His wife tries to stop him but can't. From that moment on, a huge curse falls on their family. By the way, friends, I want to make one thing clear here, that I'm just explaining what's shown in the movie. To be honest, neither I nor my whole team ever want to talk about making such sacrifices. Well, coming back to the story, a few months later, his wife gives birth to a child, but the child is born disabled. So, the blessing they were supposed to receive turns out incomplete, almost like a curse. And the landlord's sins don't just affect his family. They impact the entire village. There's no rain, the crops don't grow well, and everyone suffers from hunger. People start dying. The whole village begins to suffer the consequences of their actions. So, the landlord's wife goes back to the same goddess's temple and prays to save the village. Near the temple, there's a big tree where people tie offerings as a vow. She's the first woman to do this ritual. Slowly, other women in the village start doing the same. After a few days, things begin to get better, and the village starts returning to normal. But the story doesn't end here. After some time, the landlord's wife has another child. She gives birth, but the baby is born disabled. Yet, the family doesn't escape the curse. The story then jumps to 1987. Now, the last heir of that landlord comes into the picture. He had gotten married not long ago, but after his wife gives birth, she dies. The landlord himself is also a bit disabled. Now, the baby born to him has a strange illness. If sunlight touches his body, he gets burned. So, the kid isn't normal. He has a really dangerous condition. He was born. It turns out the landlord didn't want to get married, but his friend forced him into it. The next day, that friend goes to a big priest, shows him the child's horoscope, and explains the problem. After a bit of checking, the priest figures out that all this is the result of the old landlord's sins. He clearly says the child is very dangerous, because the family's sins are now affecting the next generation. Then the story jumps back to the present day, 2006, early in the morning. A man steps outside to relieve himself. But right then, he looks so shocked that he almost loses his mind. There are two bodies hanging from a tree. Soon, the police and media arrive at the scene and start their investigations. From the looks of it, the bodies aren't very old. Around the same time, a psychiatrist named Maya comes to the village. She asks the inspector for details about the case, But the inspector is pretty arrogant and doesn't give her proper answers. Actually, Maya is researching this case, which is why she has come to the village from Hyderabad. So, then Maya sees this weird mask at the crime scene. And from there, the story flashes back. Now, we see what happened a month ago. It's night, and a guy named Prasad is cycling home. He feels like someone's nearby. Suddenly, his bike chain comes off, so he stops to fix it. Right then, a bunch of people wearing masks surround him. Scared, Prasad tells them he has nothing worth stealing and asks them to leave him alone. But later it turns out those masked guys are actually it was his son Shiva and his friends. Today was Prasad's birthday, and Shiva had planned the whole surprise. After cutting the cake, Shiva gifted his dad a smartphone. The next day, a stranger called that new phone, asking about a girl named Nidhi. Shiva answered and told him it was the wrong number. But the thing is, the SIM in his dad's phone used to be registered under Nidhi's name. So that guy kept calling that number repeatedly, saying weird stuff, asking how Nidhi's phone was with them. Did you sleep with him last night? I've tried to win over that Nidhi so many times, but she never gave in. What did you show her? Now Shiva gets mad. He asks that guy for her location and threatens him to send it. What did I show her? I'll show you the same. Well, the story now goes back to that village where the women keep going to that tree, making their wishes. Meanwhile, the temple priest starts having strange visions and begins to feel that the village is facing a big danger. It's coming. Right then, a woman from the same village starts showing signs of divine possession. She tells everyone that a huge danger is about to hit the village. Because of this, that very night the priest goes to the landlord's house. But no one lives there anymore. The whole family has been wiped out. What happened to them? That becomes clear later on. The priest realizes the real problem is connected to that house. So he puts up a sign saying no one should enter or they'll die. Meanwhile, the story moves to another village where there's a sorcerer. His disciple comes to him, panicked, and says that a huge disaster has happened. Someone who shouldn't have gotten powers has actually received them. Now the whole world is in danger, and only the guru can find a way out. Hearing this, the sorcerer hands something to his disciple and explains that many years ago, the sages trapped the spirit of the 3 times in it. Whenever evil forces come to the earth, this spirit is released. But to awaken it, it needs a body. So he tells his disciple to use his dark magic to awaken the soul. Then, it will guide itself about which soul should enter which body. After that, the disciple sets out searching with that guidance. The next day, the village priest is performing a ritual at his home. Suddenly, he hears a woman's laughter. He feels like someone is standing behind him. But when he turns around, no one's there. And then, all of a sudden, he dies. A little while later, the villagers are deeply saddened by what happened. Before dying, the priest had written a short letter saying that the village goddess is very angry. After that, people in the village started dying one after another, and whoever died was found, holding a paper in their hands with their last will written on it. Some had taken their own lives because of debt, while others, who had no children, just passed away quietly. The villagers grew scared and began whispering among themselves that the ones who had prayed to the goddess for favors were the ones dying. Among them was a man named Shankar. He had lent money to many people in the village. He had come to the village from the city to build his farmhouse. It was then that a man named Sampat approached him. He slaps him and scolds him, asking what's going on in the village and what he's even talking about. Then it comes out that the priest who died earlier had written in his letter that if the landlord's family performed the worship, the problem could be solved. But the issue is that the woman from that family has taken her son to another city for treatment. So, years ago, this same family had saved the village by worshiping the goddess, and even now, they're the only ones who can do it. Though nobody knows where the woman named Sandhya from that family is. The village. Seeing the condition, people start slowly fleeing from there. Meanwhile, some guys keep calling Shiva's dad asking about Nidhi. Just then, Shiva shows up at their location and badly beats them up. Those guys were drug users and used to harass the college girls. After the fight, Nidhi herself calls Shiva to say thank you. Actually, she had turned off her phone out of frustration because of those guys. Later, seeing Shiva at the same college, she calls him on her own number to thank him. Shiva also, he talks nicely and motivates her, saying that girls these days shouldn't be scared, but should face things head on. A few days later, Shiva's dad comes over and tries to get his phone back. He says he doesn't want the phone because he doesn't know what kind of girl Nidhi is, calling repeatedly just to say thank you. Shiva then calls Nidhi herself, scolds her a bit and says, "This is my dad's number. Don't keep calling again and again. Saying thank you once is enough." After that, the story moves to the present. Day Shiva keeps being shown the same place again and again. The weird thing is, no matter who sends him the location, it's always that same village. Even when he orders food delivery, the location is stuck on that village. By now, Shiva has changed 3 phones, but the problem stays the same on every single one. Another strange thing is, whenever Nidhi calls him, his ears start ringing and then they actually begin to bleed. Shiva himself can't figure out what's happening to him. When he tries calling Nidhi back, then her phone was switched off. They hadn't talked in a long time. Just then, Shiva's friend tells him to get a good job to keep his mind busy. Taking his advice, Shiva calls a guy. Actually, this guy owns a property in another village that needs renovation. Shiva agrees to take on the project, but the real shock comes when he finds out the property is in the same village where the Devi Ma temple is. So, the location Shiva kept seeing over and over turns out to be that very village. Well, that's the story. The story takes another mysterious turn. Meanwhile, the same tantric, wandering around, finally reaches Shankarpali village. There, he finds a letter from one of the people who had prayed to the goddess and later died. That's when he starts to realize that maybe the puja has to be done right here in this village. After that, he goes deeper into the village and searches for that thing again. Then he sees 3 graves and places that object on top of them, beginning the tantric ritual. After a long puja, the object actually turns out to be an egg, and from that egg, the spirit of the past comes out. At the same time, the corpse inside the grave seems to wake up as well. That night, some people arrive at the old landlord's house because Shiva had to come nearby the next morning for the renovation. But then, the corpse that woke up from the grave shows up and kills them all. The next morning, Shiva reaches the bungalow. He goes inside and opens the fridge, which is stocked with a lot of food. Actually, the person who contacted him had already told him not to worry about food. His guy would be there. However, until now, that bungalow, everyone is already dead. And the biggest thing is, there's no one left to contact Shiva, only Shankar, the same guy who had lent money to the villagers and maybe even bought this bungalow. Meanwhile, Maya is passing through that village when suddenly, a girl steps right in front of her car. She slams on the brakes, gets out and looks around, but no one's there. Seeing the place so deserted, she thinks it was just her imagination and drives on. But a villager walking down the same road sees a terrifying ghost of a girl. He's scared out of his wits. He runs away, but then he dies. Meanwhile, Shiva is about to take a burger out of the fridge to eat when he suddenly gets a shock. The burger has gone bad, and right at that moment, Nidhi calls him. Shiva's ears start ringing again from the noise. He can't handle it and faints. The next morning when he opens the fridge, there's no food left inside. And seeing that, he freaks out. After a while, he checks around the bungalow. Then, not too far away, he sees the shadow of a girl and gets so scared that he faints again. After a little while, 2 mischievous hands start reaching near him. As soon as Shiva comes to his senses, he gets really scared seeing all this. Just then, his 4 friends arrive, 2 girls and 2 guys. They say the bungalow is huge and that they'll stay here for a few days to have some fun. Meanwhile, Maya shows up too. Actually, a little earlier, Shiva got scared when he saw her because Maya's car had broken down at night, and she had come inside through the bungalow's gate. Maya introduces herself as a criminal psychologist and says she's come to the village for some work. Then she starts checking the bungalow. Well, as soon as night falls, the bungalow's phone starts ringing on its own. When Shiva's friend picks up, he hears his girlfriend's voice on the other end. She's begging for help. "Please save me." Right then, The friend looks outside and sees a figure that looks just like his girlfriend. But suddenly, the house's dangerous spirit drags him away and sinks him into the ground. When he tries to tell the others about his girlfriend, no sound comes out of his mouth. Meanwhile, Shiva is in the other room. A girl appears. He starts calling out to her, saying needy, needy. But suddenly, the door to that room closes by itself, and he can't get inside. After a while, the bungalow's door opens on its own, and his friend comes out. As soon as sunlight touches him, he burns to ashes. Meanwhile, the tantric returns to his guru and tells him that he performed the ritual, exactly as instructed. The spirit of Trikal has emerged from the egg. What should be done next? And who exactly is this Trikal? The guru then begins to tell the story of Trikal. He says there were some secret places on earth. And a long time ago, one such place was hidden from human eyes. It was a whole city, a really beautiful city. But later, the sages found out that the city was going to be submerged underwater. That city wasn't just full of gold and silver. It also held many powerful abilities and magical books. The sages hid all those things in one place and created a trident to protect it. Whoever could get that trident would gain access to the city and its powers. Years later, a king named Trikala got hold of that trident. He started protecting it. Many kings, emperors, demons, and monsters tried to get hold of that trident. But in the end, Trikal trapped his soul inside an egg after dying. In other words, he stored himself there. Now, if anyone tries to get the trident, Trikal's soul will possess a body and protect it again. Recently, someone managed to get the trident using some dark tantric powers. That's why it's crucial to stop Trikal before he reaches the city. Right now, Trikal's soul is inside the landlord's family. It's inside a person, but only when that person's soul attains liberation can the soul of Trikal be reborn. That's why Guruji says that soul needs to be freed. Only then can Trikal be controlled. However, the soul inside that body is still burning with the fire of revenge. So this has to be done as soon as possible. After that, the story takes a little flashback. One day, the landlord's friend goes to a priest. He comes to ask about the newborn baby named Vitaran. As it was explained earlier, Vitaran has a rare condition. If he goes outside during the day, his skin can get burned. That's why his father always keeps him locked in a room. But the loneliness makes Vitaran's mind really violent. He keeps asking the maid to take him outside. When she refuses, the boy starts hitting her. Then the priest says that first, they need to change the kid's mindset. For that to happen, he needs to feel his mother's love again. Because Vitaran's mom died right after he was born. She had gone. Now in the present day, Shiva finds out that Maya already knows about this family. He starts scaring her and asks what actually happened here and how she knows these people. Then Maya begins to tell him about Vitaran, and the story flashes back again. Actually, in his teenage years, Vitaran had shot and killed his father. Because of this, he was sent to a rehabilitation center. But instead of getting better there, his condition got worse. He even started hurting the people there. A few months. First, the government appointed Maya to treat him. Maya was shocked to see his violent behavior. To begin with, she hypnotizes him to get a full understanding of Vitaran, and then the story flashes back again. Actually, Vitaran's father had married a woman named Sandhya, but her husband didn't see her as a wife. He treated her like a servant. He paid no attention to his factory work or the household and constantly scolded Sandhya for everything. But Sandhya considered Vitaran her own child. She started loving him deeply. She began fulfilling his dreams. Basically, she began covering the Vitaran completely and taking it outside. After so many years, when Vitaran finally came out of its house, it was really happy. For the first time, it was seeing the world with its own eyes. One day, the landlord's friend comes by with his son near their house. After a while, the boy, while smoking a cigarette, asks Vitaran to smoke too. But Sandhya sees this and sends the boy away. Later, the boy's father beats him up badly, and it turns out that the boy was none other than... Actually, it happens. After a few days, Sandhya becomes pregnant. When she's writhing in stomach pain, her husband doesn't take her to the hospital. He suspects that the baby isn't his. He thinks Sandhya is having an affair with someone else. He tortures her badly, constantly asking who the father of the baby is. In a fit of rage, Vaitaran shoots and kills his own father. After that, Maya hears Vaitaran's story and starts his treatment. Gradually, his mental condition begins to improve. Sandhya takes Vaitaran to Maya for a regular checkup. Then another thing comes up. Vaitaran has a sister named Nidhi. Sandhya and Nidhi start telling Maya about some incidents. Vaitaran often drives Nidhi to her college. But whenever Nidhi's friends see Vaitaran, they make fun of him because he always covers his whole body. Hearing all this, his mental state gets worse. Whenever he felt like it, he would start hitting and fighting with people. After that, Vaitaran was under treatment for a long time. He didn't come. Sometimes Nidhi used to call Maya, but she never actually said anything when she called. Meanwhile, one day Maya finds out about that incident in the village. The guy who saw those two hanging bodies also found Vaitaran's mask at the same spot. Now Maya starts wondering how Vaitaran's mask ended up here. To find out more about Vaitaran, she comes to that bungalow. There, she learns that Vaitaran's family isn't around. After that, Maya asks Shiva about Nidhi, wanting to know how he knows her. Then Shiva begins to tell her about himself. Looks like the story flashes back again. Now Nidhi keeps calling Shiva over and over, saying thank you. Actually, she was slowly starting to like Shiva. Then they became pretty good friends. Gradually, they even started falling in love. But the thing is, they never met face to face. All their conversations happened over the phone. After a few days, suddenly, for some reason, Nidhi stops calling Shiva. Then one day, out of the blue, Shiva gets a call from Nidhi. But as soon as that call, the ringtone rings, and blood starts dripping from his ears. Not just that, right then, he realizes that he came to this village looking for Nidhi. And all because of some contract. Suddenly, in the present day, a weird voice speaks up. The voice says, "You came looking for Nidhi, didn't you? She's been dead for a long time." Hearing this, the atmosphere gets even creepier. After a while, Shankar enters the bungalow. As soon as he steps inside, all the windows and doors slam shut on their own. Shankar was the one who gave Shiva the contract to renovate these bungalows. And snorting sound. Now he came to ask about those people who had come near the bungalows and then disappeared. Shiva Shankar starts questioning him about this bungalow. He asks if this bungalow belongs to him and what exactly happened here. Then Shankar begins to reveal some truths, and the story flashes back again. In the flashback, it's shown that Sandhya had borrowed some money from Shankar. Because of this, Shankar kept bothering her again and again. Meanwhile, Vaitarna's friend, Sampat, helps their family and takes care of Sandhya's debt. He messes up. Here's another truth that comes out. One day, when Sampat was a teenager, he sneaked into Vaitaran's house. Just as he was coming out of Sandhya's room, he bumped into Sandhya's husband. That made the landlord suspicious that Sandhya was having an affair with that guy. Actually, when Sandhya had scolded Sampat for smoking, Sampat started all this to get back at her. Not just that, he even killed his own father. And the biggest thing was, he was pretending to help Sandhya so that later they can take over the bungalows and wipe out the entire family. Then, Sampat Vaitaran starts suspecting that Sandhya is having an affair with him. He assures him that Sandhya is sleeping with Sampat, and that's why Sampat is helping him. After some time, Vaitaran is driving somewhere. On the way, he meets Nidhi's friend and her boyfriend, who are both completely drunk, and they start mocking Vaitaran. Nidhi's friend even says that Nidhi keeps talking to some guy non-stop on the phone, now because Vaitaran was already mentally unstable. He is incensed to hear his words. He kills them both and hangs their bodies from the tree. That was why at the beginning of the movie, the man had seen corpses hanging on the tree. After this, Vaitaran returns home and kills his mother too. But Nidhi sees all this and shoots Vaitaran with a gun in anger. After a while, Shankar and his men reach there and kill Nidhi too. Then Shankar and Sampat together kill the villagers so that the village Let there be an atmosphere of fear in the village. And during this time, he also kills Pandichi in the village. His whole plan is to get the village emptied so that they can name all the properties. That is why he spreads this rumor in the village that the goddess mother herself is killing people, especially those who had asked for vows. In the present day, the soul of Vadaran now enters Shiva's body. Shiva, wearing a mask, begins to behave like a Vatran. Maya barely binds him to a chair and hypnotizes him. During hypnosis, he begins to show him the love of his mother, his childhood and his suppressed memories. Gradually, the soul of the Vatran gets salvation. At the same time, the property comes there. Shiva tries to kill the property by lifting the gun because of that. The fund was dead. Meanwhile, on the other hand, he brings out the corpse of Tantric Vadaran and puts the soul of the trickle in it. Now the trickle separates the head of the property from the trunk. He has taken the form of some kind of ghost, rider. But now Vadaran is not a bad soul. He has become a god who eradicates evil. In the final scene, director hint gives that the second part of this movie is also going to come, and with this film ends here. So friends, how did you like this movie? To tell me by commenting and subscribing to this channel to watch similar movies, and press the bell icon so that no video is missed by you. Also like this video and share it with your friends so that brother can get a chance to see some interest too. So let's meet you now in the next video. Till then, take care and thanks for watching.